Hello students. So I'm going to explain the PLC logic for the sorting system. It can be a metal sorting, it can be a plastic parts sorting, it can be magnetic, it can be color based sensor or color products sorting machine. Okay, so the program could be same, but the sensor is going to change. So this here I'm having a sample of magnetic sorting machine program. Uh, so you know that what are the parts are there in your project, right? There is a conveyor belt. Conveyor belt is driven by a motor, that is DC motor. DC motor having two status, on or off. Okay, so DC motor is connected to Y0. Y0 is DC motor. Okay, Y0 on means DC motor is on, Y0 off means DC motor is off. And sensor you have connected to X1 and X0 is start. So there are two inputs here, start switch and sensor, and there is a DC motor is there, and there is one more actuator, that is solenoid, that is Y1. So in this program there are two outputs and two inputs. So I'm going to list the inputs and outputs. Say for example, this is a inputs. So we are having a start switch and then sensor, and this is X0, this is X1. Okay, so same thing we can consider for the outputs. And in outputs, that is DC motor, that is, or you can say conveyor, DC motor conveyor. And there is a cylinder is operated by solenoid, so this is solenoid, and that is Y0 and this is Y1. Okay, so these are the inputs and outputs. So what is our requirement? By operating start button, conveyor motor should start. Assuming that you are already placed the part, okay, work part to be sorted, you already placed on the conveyor belt. So when you press start button, motor starts. Y0 should be on, so motor starts, and then metal part flowing on the conveyor belt. Okay, so whenever the sensor senses the part, if it is magnetic, okay, so this I am expecting magnetic. So if it is magnetic type part, then what happen? Magnetic sensor will be on. So when magnetic sensor is on, so after certain time, a solenoid valve should be on, so that cylinder will push the magnetic part other side of the conveyor belt. Okay. If it is not sensed, then cylinder should not extend. That means solenoid should not be on. So this is what the overall requirement of the project. So I've given, see, what time conveyor belt should be on. Assuming that I'm switching on the conveyor belt around 10 minutes or some time, so that conveyor belt will be automatically off. Okay, so after that time, conveyor belt will be automatically off. So I am running the conveyor belt in the program. It is, see for example, this is a T1, 400 means 40 seconds. So that is a cycle, one cycle. If you press the switch, if you press the switch start, if you press this switch start X0, conveyor belt will be on for 40 seconds. After that, what will happen? After 40 seconds, T1 will be on. So when T1 is on, I'm going to reset the Y0. That means I'm going to switch off the Y0. I'm going to switch off the DC motor. Simple. By pressing start button, motor is on, motor is set. When it is off, after time of 40 seconds, T1 will be on, then it is going to reset. Conveyor motor is going to stop. It is going to off. That is a cycle of, that is called one cycle. So again, if you want to switch on the conveyor belt, again you have to operate the start button. That is how it is written in the program. Okay. So in 40 seconds, if sensor is on, if X1 is on, that means magnetic sensor is on, then I have taken one internal variable called M1. It is called dummy variable or internal marker. So M1 will be on and T2 will be on. T2 is 15 seconds. Why it is 15 seconds means when sensor is on, there is some distance between the sensor and the cylinder. That distance is covered in 15 seconds. So when sensor is on, M1 is on. When M1 is on, T2 will be on. So after 15 seconds, T2 is going to give a signal for the solenoid to be on. When solenoid is on, immediately cylinder will extend and push the material to the other side of the conveyor belt. If it is not sensed, then M1 will never be on and solenoid will never be on. Okay. So how to reset the M1? See, when X1 is on, M1 is set. Set means it will be continuously on. If you want to have one more sorting, then M1 has to be reset before it is sensing, right? So when M1 should be reset? After the time of 15 seconds. Okay, what I am doing is, after whenever solenoid is on, I am taken one timer, that is T3, that is also 15 seconds I have taken. So after 15 seconds, M1 should be reset automatically. So that means T3 signal I am going to reset, so that one more sorting will happen. It's very simple. If X1 is on, means if sensor is on, cylinder should extend. Okay. So when cylinder should go back again, because M1 will be continuously on. That means whenever cylinder is extended, that means whenever solenoid Y1 is on, at that time I will count 15 seconds, and after 15 seconds cylinder should retract, because I am going to reset M1. If M1 is off, solenoid is also off, because M1 solenoid depends on M1 condition. Why? Because solenoid is depend on T2 and T2 depends on M1. So if M1 is on, then cylinder may extend. If M1 is off, cylinder will never extend. So that is what the concept. M1 is here dummy variable or internal marker, internal variable, that is not having any physical significance. Okay, I hope you understood the program. And conveyor belt should be reset by another variable is there. So okay, I have taken one more variable, that is called stop. For example, in between, in the period of 40 seconds, if you want to stop the conveyor belt, so there is one more button called stop. So I should add that. So stop. So I should add the stop, and that is X2. So by operating X2, solenoid is also reset. If it is on by chance, it's also reset. Then motor is also reset. Then solenoid is also reset. So that is going to stop. Okay. So this is what the complete explanation of the sorting project. It is applicable for all type of sorting projects. If you have any questions, then you can contact me in WhatsApp. Thank you. This project is a magnet product sorting machine. This is having a conveyor belt, and this is a workpiece which is having a permanent magnet, and this is a magnetic sensor which is mounted on the conveyor belt, and this is a double acting cylinder, and this is a 5x2 direction control valve. This valve is having the power, that is pneumatic power supply, which is coming from this compressor. This is a compressor, and so this conveyor belt is having a motor, DC motor, that is driving the conveyor belt. This is a PLC trainer kit, and this is a Y0, Y1 is output. Two outputs is there, that is one DC motor and one solenoid valve, that is solenoid is output to the PLC. Sensor is input to the PLC, that is connected to X1. X1 is magnetic sensor input, X0 is start, X2 is stop. And we have developed a program here. This is a program. So by operating start button now, conveyor belt starts. I'm operating start. So if magnetic product sensed is sorted, if non-magnetic part is flowing on the conveyor belt, it will not, magnetic sensor will not sense and cylinder will not extend, so that is sorted. So like this, again I am sending one more magnetic part. Actually it is very okay. So that is the time we have set only for 2 parts. If you increase the time, again many parts can be sorted.